Intonation. So we've been talking about the different layers. We first talked about the layers in words. When you have word stress, there's a certain stress pattern and emphasis at the word level. Then we talked about stress that we emphasize across sentences on one word over another word. And then another layer that we're manipulating all at the same time, which is what's so remarkable, is intonation. And we put tone over the top of our sentences as well. And we do this all together to express meaning. When we're talking about intonation, though, linguists will describe languages as being tonal or not tonal. They're different terms. So English is actually not considered a tonal language, although I would argue we do definitely manipulate tone to express our meaning. But the true definition of a tonal language is when you have Mandarin Chinese, for example. What happens is you can have a consonant vowel combination, and the classic example is ma. And what happens is you manipulate the tone in that particular word and it shifts the meaning. So if you say ma, 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 all of those things mean something different. It's a different word. It's like horse and hemp and I can't remember what the other one was. Mom, mama. So that is a tonal language. So, and I guess another example I can give you is I was in China. I was teaching a summer camp for kids on American culture and American English. And one of the times I was trying to help and I was trying to get the kids to settle down and kind of have a little rest time. And I had heard the other teachers and I kind of was imitating what they were saying. And I thought that they were saying to sleep, which was, so I was saying shrey, shrey. And they looked at me like I was absolutely insane. So the way I was saying it, and I'm not even sure if that's still how I was saying it, but apparently I was yelling water, water, and not sleep. So so you have to be really careful with those tonal languages because of the way meaning can change by shifting the tone. Now, English is not considered a tonal language, although I would argue that we definitely use tone and we shift our tone to indicate different meanings. And we do have intonational patterns that we layer across a sentence to change meaning. And I've posted some examples that you can take a look at online of that. So why do we use intonation? Intonation is really important, although we're not differentiating individual words necessarily. We can convey a meaning across our sentence. But what we do is we mark the end of our sentences through our intonation pattern. We indicate that a thought is complete. And when we do that, the listener who we're speaking with is listening for that drop so that they know that we've finished our idea and then they can jump in with their idea. So if you don't have that drop though, then the listener is waiting and waiting and they might not know what the point is that you're trying to make. So we have this falling and rising intonation that establishes kind of a sense of certainty. So here I'll give you a little bit of an example. I like ice cream. Okay, you can hear the intonation of my voice just dropping off. It's just kind of a matter of fact, neutral term, not particularly exciting. But if I say, I like ice cream, you can hear the intonation rising. Well, that also indicated the end of the sentence, but a very different meaning. So we're going to get into that a little bit. Intonation and meaning also, our intonation is also tied to meaning, and so it can reveal the grammatical structure of our words. So depending on where we put some stress and how we manipulate our intonation, it can really convey a much different attitude, even though we're using the exact same words. So first we need to talk about what's an intonational phrase. And an intonational phrase is one kind of tone pattern over a group of words. Now sometimes we can put it on one word or we can put it on many words. So the examples I'm going to give you are with one word. Hi, hi, hi. Okay, so that was one word, but I used a variety of different intonational patterns. And I can't resist, but when I hear usually young men, my husband is one example, dude, dude, dude. That's an example of an intonational pattern that's on one word. So very different meanings. I think a lot of our explicatives, a lot of our profanity can also share that kind of meanings as well. So I won't, I'm sure you can imagine on your own those examples. I also think of the word, those of you who might be from North Dakota or have family in North Dakota. I have family in North Dakota, or they're from there, and they always said oofta. And I want you to imagine how many different ways oofta can be used to express meaning. It kind of means everything, and it's really the intonational pattern that folks in that part of the country are listening for. So, oofta. This is a lot of information. So we can, but like I said, the intonational pattern can cross over many words. The examples I've given have just been kind of one word examples. Now we can also have two intonational phrases but they're kind of linked. So we have one phrase with a tiny little pause and another phrase that ends the sentence, but we can have two different tone patterns expressed. So I guess if you can think about it like punctuation, that might be another way. You know, these breaking up of tone patterns is a little bit like commas. Okay, so here's some examples. You saw the movie, didn't you? Did you hear how my voice, I had one pattern where it dropped and then it came back up. Okay, here's another one. Jim, this is Donna. Okay, so I shifted it there. Now, what we're looking for when you're listening or when you're producing words, what you're doing is there's called the tonic or the nuclear accent, and that is the syllable that gets the most emphasis and the greatest pitch change, and also probably that simultaneous layering of stress, sentence stress, intonational change, but it's the tonic accent that's kind of the big one in a particular phrase. We'll pause there.